TeamLiquid going up against Virtus Pro. Alright, so TeamLiquid and Virtus Pro, they're actually playing on, Cursed Hollow as the first map, as you can see here. And TeamLiquid right now has a second ban and also, of course, the second pick then. We have Kelthas already banned out by Virtus Pro. This is still the first game in the match they're playing here at the Heroes Battle Arena, powered by Twitch and G2A. We currently see Kelthas being picked as the first, or banned as the first mage. It's actually like a ban that a lot of the teams have. It's really interesting that way that it goes right now. A lot of the teams are completely fine going up against the Kelthas, but there's a couple of teams out there that really have him as a high priority ban. Not necessarily even because they would like to pick him too, just because they hate going up against him. And TeamLiquid, they have their ban now as well. Cursed Hollow is a map where we oftentimes see bans on a hero like Abathur, for example. Tyrande is being banned out these days quite a lot. TeamLiquid has actually played very interesting styles just recently, and they go for the Tassadar. Like the utility supports, Tyrande and Tassadar have a very high focus on being banked right now as well, just because they are extremely strong in the way that they can support a team solo or even as an addition to a main healer. And that's pretty scary, especially since there are certain combinations with the Tassadar, for example, being played by or with the Sonya that can really be super scary too. Virtus Pro could think about an Abathur here, since Abathur is a hero that is very valuable on this map. If they go into something completely different, TeamLiquid might actually pick up Abathur and Jaina, and therefore we have Virtus Pro going into Jaina themselves now. First of all, she's a great hero, of course, in itself, but that opens up Tyrande in combination with some other heroes for TeamLiquid. Oftentimes, of course, if you're trying to get Tyrande for a sniper composition, you want to have Jaina too, just for the reason that it's incredibly powerful to have that stun plus extra damage plus burst damage thanks to Blizzard, but as expected, Tyrande is still a very good pick for them. Now, they could go into a Mirrodin here. Mirrodin and Tyrael have been two picks that TeamLiquid is extremely fond of. The question is just how early in the draft are you really willing to commit to the two of them. And they are saying, hey, we want to have that sniper comp, we're going to go into Tyrande together with the Mirrodin, so they already pick him up here, and Virtus Pro has now the chance to add an Abathur to their draft. Anyways, Abathur plus Jaina is a possibility for them now, and it's a very strong possibility at that. That's actually something that we could see from excuse me, that we could see from them right now, and, well, Abathur Jaina would be a good start, and then you can throw in maybe like even an Uther if you wanted to. You have one less body on the map as is, but you could still try and run that with an Uther. So there's a few things that they could actually do to really put some pressure on TeamLiquid, but they are hesitating a lot actually, running down the time pool, and it looks a bit like they might not even use that Abathur, even though he is a great hero on this map for split push experience, the double Jaina potential. And also those mines. I mean, the mines itself are absolutely annoying. They are like so frustrating to deal with. They give you vision. They allow you to just like make sure that if they are, for example, set up in these bushes, they make sure that it's very difficult for your opponent to try and go in and take you down. So there's a lot that Virtus Pro could do with that. But they might not even use Abathur here. They're waiting a long time. Sonya it is. It's kind of expected for her to be picked early in the game, but that could lead into an Uther now, Sonya Uther, as a potential setup for them. Or are they going for the Abathur together with the Sonya? Because let's be honest here for a second, that's something that they could also do, and which I could completely see here. So, call me intrigued. Call me intrigued at this point. It's definitely a chance of what they could take here. Well, there we have the Abathur. Alright, so instead of an Uther, it is an Abathur that they're playing. Fair enough. And let's see what else we're going to have on the side of TeamLiquid now. Because TeamLiquid bans now, of course. And their thought process was probably, do we want an Uther? Yes or no? Tyrael is banned instead of picked. They love to play Mirrodin and Tyrael, but they decide against it. That leaves an Uther open, and that probably means that they are going to take Uther. Falset is banned out here, because TeamLiquid also just recently started to play Falset Butcher again. And with them leaving Uther open and probably getting Uther, banning out Falstad is actually a smart move, because if TeamLiquid starts taking these heroes, Virtus.pro doesn't have bans left anymore, so they would have to pick away, and that is actually like really smart. If TeamLiquid would have picked an Uther together with Falstad now, Butcher would have been open for the later stages of the game, and TeamLiquid has been playing Falstad Butcher, so that's actually a very smart ban by Virtus.pro here, and TeamLiquid goes ETC first of all. There's not a lot of stun on the side of Virtus.pro yet. That's actually like interesting. I would say that TeamLiquid is most likely going to add some range damage to their setup now. At this point, it looks more and more like they're going to play Tyrande solo and not with an Uther. Tyrande can of course be played with a more of a damage focus build as well, but it looks more and more like she is going to play the solo healer of the team. That's a cool thing right now that we have about a lot of these heroes, that you can actually play them in combos or you can play them as solo heals. So when we're talking range damage, we could see a Vala, a Reyna. Zagara is also an option that we occasionally see still on this map, especially with the vision that you can provide. Problem is that we have so many heroes on the side of Virtus.pro that can really deal with all of that extra, I want to say with like that extra creep spread in those tumors. It is a Sylvanas that they play here, and Sylvanas can be quite strong. We've seen that in the last few games already. These Wailing Arrows are awesome. I think it's beautiful that Sylvanas is making her way back into the meta. I'm really liking that a lot. But for now, we have, well, what do we have actually? Is Virtus.pro going to run... What are they going to run here? They can still pick up that Uther. There's a Johanna as the frontliner. Yeah, there it is. They go for Uther. They take Uther, and TeamLiquid now is suddenly in a position where they are facing, well, at least like the stun on the side of Sonya with the spear, Uther stun, Johanna stun. I could have seen them going into something like a little bit different, trying to make that work, but not with the setup that they're up against right now. One of the heroes that we haven't really seen yet at all is Artanis, and one of the main reasons is that the teams are saying that they have a very tough time getting him through the draft, with the opponents having a very like small amount of stuns. The more stuns you have, the more problems you have to keep Artanis alive. So for now, it's TeamLiquid heading instead into their last pick, which could be additional damage, probably should be additional damage thinking about it. And Virtus.pro has a very scary setup. Double potential Jaina plus symbioted Sonya plus Johanna at the front line and an Uther to keep all of that alive with the Divine Shield. Yeah, that is pretty scary. That is actually a very, very scary setup that they have there right now. And TeamLiquid is 4 seconds away from getting an auto hero. And it is Reyna. Okay, Reyna is being picked as the last hero. It makes sense to add a bit more damage to the setup. And Reyna is a good tank killer, of course, in the later stages as well. Doesn't have an escape. That's a bit of a problem that he's facing. But still, this is going to be an interesting match, to say the least here. Virtus.pro has a very good setup and has a very scary setup at that. And I'm personally very interested to see how exactly Fnatic is going to deal with this. Because it's not going to be easy. Like, all that potential that TeamLiquid or that Virtus.pro currently has is, I feel, a bit scary. I personally think it's a really scary setup that they're having here, and Fnatic will have to bring their A-game. The one thing that really stood out about Fnatic in the tournaments that they played recently is that their coordination seemed a bit off at the start. It got better towards the later stages of the tournaments. The communication in general, maybe that was just like an aspect that they couldn't really like practice before they jumped into the tournament. It could have been one of the things. As is, I feel like just working together is something that is still a bit difficult for them. Not in the way that it's not possible or anything, but I feel like they still have to work a bit on their synergy and how they are making this work. But they definitely have the potential of taking that game here. But it has to really be an effort as a team and them trying to really just like get everything in at the right time, and that is going to be a bit of an issue. Because if you just the reason why I'm saying this, because it sounds like something that is really obvious, and to some extent it definitely is, but the reason why I'm saying it is, if they get picked on the map as a single person, then they are dead. There's just like so much burst potential that we see now for Virtus.pro, so many stuns also that they can bring in, that is going to be very difficult to work against roaming squads. Like, map awareness and the communication is everything at this point. They need to make sure that they just play a passive game if they are alone on a lane and wait until the entire team is there if there is such a situation. And in the last few tournaments, they didn't do that. Not at the start, at least, and they lost these games, but later on in the tournament they were able to play a lot more successfully and actually like also qualified, for example, for the Fragmite Masters. So there's a few things that they've been able to do, and you could really tell how the more they talked, the more synergy there was, the more like the communication and coordination within the team worked, the better the setup was. And it's still one of the more newer teams, I want to say. Virtus Pro switched out players as well, but not as many. TeamLiquid switched out 3 players, and of course that has a certain impact on how you are working as a team. And with time, experience will definitely help them here a lot. But right now, of course, they have to show what they can do at this point. And that's why it's going to be an interesting one. For Virtus Pro, then again, we have a setup where they are very strong, very experienced, they are risky, they like to be aggressive. It's a great team, and it's also like a team that is just able to seize the day, I want to say. If they see an opportunity, they're going to jump on it, and that's something that we can look forward to in the next game now as well. So personally, I'm actually like very excited for this one, because I think we're going to see a fight on eye level in before one of the team dominates, right? Yeah, but that being said, I really think that at this point it could become a very, very fun game between the two of them, and I can't wait to see who's actually going to make it here, because, well, it's the first time that both of these teams play in the HBA, and they will try and get an early start. So it's like a round-robin system that we have with that Group A teams in total that face each other in best-of-3 series, and this is for both of the teams the first best-of-3 that they play here. And yeah, they will bring the A game. Let's find out if it's going to be enough and who's going to take it. And game on! We have our first game starting here between TeamLiquid and Virtus Pro, and to the left side of the map, as you can see, Vortex is playing Morena. We have ETC, played by Lucifer on Lowell on Muradin. We are seeing Chris on Sylvanas and Gerd am Herd on Tyrande. To the right side of the map, Sefkaje on Jaina for Virtus Pro. We have Power of Dream, their frontliner on Sonya, Unstable on Uther, BKB on Johanna, and Andy Lendy is playing Abatha for the team here. The first map is Cursed Hollow, and it's an interesting setup that we are seeing on the side of TeamLiquid. They decided to go into Sylvanas, a hero that is starting to become a bit more popular. Gamers2 was the team that played the most Sylvanas, I want to say, in the recent past. And just in the last series that we saw here at the HBA, we saw also Fnatic pick it away from their opponents and trying to win with her. But right now, it's a very different position that TeamLiquid finds themselves in now. It's the first game. They go for a level 1 talent with Empower, which kind of indicates that we're going to see an Owl build on, yeah. It's actually interesting, an Owl build on Tyrande that would also make sure that on level 4 she's not going to go into Protective Shield or Healing Ward, but would instead go for Pierce, which is a great talent to take on the map. On Cursed Hollow, it's really nice, but if you don't have a second support, or at least a utility supporter like Tacita, it's a bit weird to see them not committing to any kind of additional sustain. I suppose with Lucifron going for Proc Rock on level 1, they have at least some sustain, but Gerd will have to give a few talents up to really get that build going, especially since on level 16 then of course he also has to take the Ranger's talent. But it's still something where they can, especially in the earlier stages of the game, execute a lot of pressure, and that's what they're currently trying to do. Until level 10, they should be able to reign supreme here. Well, reasons, we're going to talk about that in a second. For now, we have Gerd actually being attacked, and here comes the power of Virtus Pro, but they lose a hero in the process as well, so it's a trade 1-for-1. LOL was even showing there for a second and trying to jump in. So the reason why Fnatic should be, why TeamLiquid should be able to really make a lot of pressure work in the earlier stages of the game is that they have a healer that is now more played like a damage dealer and utility support, and Uther will have a lot of power once he has his Divine Shield and also later on with Benediction. But right now at the beginning of the game, with the cooldowns for him being as high as they are, he's going to have a bit of a problem really getting all of this done and really out-healing the damage that is provided by the opponent's team. After level 10 and after then all those extra healing spells or skills for him are going to come into play, it's probably going to be easier for Virtus Pro to really get that sustain out there. But at least in the early game, with the Sylvanas, with that Tyrande, it should be an easy way for TeamLiquid to get ahead in experience and like burst a few structures down and make something like this happen. And they're already trying to. Stun here missing a bit. Gerd apparently expecting Lucifer to go for the power slide, which didn't happen. Level 4 talents have started. We have on Abathar the push build that has been very popular, especially since Chet was playing it nearly continuously for Fnatic. He's doing a very similar build, not the same one, but he goes Survival Instincts on level 1 and then adds the level 13 and 16 talents. He is usually playing it with more of a focus on the toxic nests on the remaining talents, but we have Adrenal Overlord now taken on level 4 for Virtus.pro, and that helps, of course, especially when we're talking about Sonya, and she is going to be one of those crucial heroes in the lineup for Virtus.pro, so it's something that they're going to try and take here. So we have currently up at the top lane, Abathur still in position. Down here, Virtus.pro is also starting to claim that tribute. Oh, already the stun. I'm a little bit surprised that nobody's really moving in for this just yet. But there's Sefkaja, Abathur soaking experience in the top. Reyna moves in. They want the tribute apparently. He is actually switching out again, thinking about moving into the mid lane. But here comes, first of all, Lucifron, and a great kill against Jaina. They waited long enough, and then they see an opportunity and they take it. They get the double kill. And as I said, early game should belong to them. And that also gives them now a slight lead in experience. Well done here. I was a bit surprised to see that Virtus.pro really committed this much to the tribute here, considering that they're running Abathur and lacking a body in these fights is an issue. You can of course help with the symbiote, but that's just not replacing a real body in the early stages of the game at least. Later on it's becoming a bit more powerful with like Hive Mind on level 20, with a level 10 ability now too. But yeah, he was soaking at the top, but at this point they lose the tribute and they also lose 2 of their heroes. In total it's 3 against 1 kills now. Iceland's taken on level 1. AK Intellect, by the way, is the talent that has been taken on level 4. Oh, and the potential kill against Jaina, and they do it. They kill Jaina. BKB moves in, not quite sure why. Well, Lowell is even rotating over. It's a 4 versus 3, and that is going to be a kill against Sonya. Wow, that was a very aggressive move on the side of Virtus.pro, and I'm not quite sure why exactly they did that, since they were from the start 1 man down. They didn't know about Lowell moving in, but still, the best that they could hope for is with Uther arriving, a 3 versus 3. And now they're losing 3 heroes. They're gonna lose Uther too. Unstable is down. That's a triple kill. They are making it easy for TeamLiquid now to get that position. I was just going to talk about the aggressive build that we see for Sefkaja with the Icelands. Kiting is much better, and if you're good at hitting your skill shots, you can actually dish out a lot of damage here. But if they feed heroes to TeamLiquid like they just did, then they are not going to have a fun game here. Vortex moves away. Good shot by Vortex. Really well done. He's not going to die to this one, at least he should not. That was a good attempt on the side of Virtus.pro with Abathur, Sefkaja and Abathur trying to move in for this. But yeah, as you could see, that didn't really work out for them at all. I mean, that was well done by Lucifron. Hitting that penetrating shot, that was extremely... Oh, by Vortex, sorry. That penetrating round, that was just like the key here. So we have a quick break, and that actually like helps us to go over the talents and talk a bit about what we're seeing here. We have Battle Momentum taken on level 7 for Tyrande. No stun, instead Battle Momentum, and that means that we're going to see even more of these owls hitting. And the interesting part about the Battle Momentum talent taken on this map is that now, of course, it's also going to be much easier for them to interrupt tribute channels. It's going to be incredibly easy. You can't continuously do that, but the timing window that you usually have between owls is now even smaller, and that means it's going to be very difficult for Virtus.pro to get one of these tributes, especially with Pierce taken on level 4. That is going to make it, of course, easy for Tyrande to just like go through this. Level 10 hits so early for TeamLiquid right now. I mean, they're talking Hyperion, we are seeing them with the Shadow Stalk, we have Wailing Arrow, Mosh Pit, and for Muradin, it is supposed to be Avatar. Yep, and there it is. Whereas we have the team moving around and just using not only Sylvanas, but also the rest of the team to catch a few of these mercenary camps here. Siege Giant camp, first of all. Tribute is spawning at the top, and that of course helps them now too. They already have 2, by the way. This is going to be a curse. This is going to be for sure a curse against Virtus.pro. They are not going to be happy about that at all. I mean, that curse is going to hit, and it's going to hit hard. And I'm feeling that Virtus.pro, they will have to do something about that, and apparently the idea is to burst down the bot lane structures to get the experience. That can work. I mean, they are getting fair trades out of this. The problem is that the top lane is pushing so much harder, and Chris, they could even go further. I would even go deeper than this, to be honest with you, because that Siege Giant camp is going to eliminate this one anyways. They could have gone for the wall at the key. They wouldn't have gotten the key, but with everybody down here, I don't understand why they just did not simply move towards the key. Alright, I'm going to show you that situation real quick. Up here at the top, we have 2 heroes with a huge damage output committing to the fort. They could have simply moved right over here, eliminated those 2 towers, and this wave and the Siege Giant would have taken down the fort anyways. And they could have done it because they knew that everybody from Virtus.pro was at the bot lane. There was no way for them to rotate this fast. Now Virtus.pro, even though it's a curse against them, they get a boss and they just got a kill. yes, the top lane lost the fort, the mid lane lost the towers, but they could have gotten a lot more out of this. 2 extra towers at least at the gate here, and maybe even a bit more than that. As is, that didn't happen. They will most likely get at least one of these additional towers there, finally, but they just allowed their opponent to move on the map. If they would have taken that immediately, then the boss would have probably not even been taken by Virtus.pro, because Virtus.pro needed to go up to the top to kind of contest this. So I feel like this is one of these things that Gamers2 or G2 Esports does a little bit better. They've showcased just recently that they are willing to just bypass a fort, go straight for that if it's even disabled, if they have a Sylvanas, and use that to its fullest potential. And I think that's a really smart move. Calls like this are always a little bit difficult to go for. It's of course also a bit easier since we have the full vision of the map, but in this case TeamLiquid actually saw that everybody was down to the bot lane. But yeah, just to give you a bit of an idea of moves that are still possible in scenarios or situations like this that bring you even farther ahead. As is, TeamLiquid is still ahead. I mean, we're talking 72 kills, and here's the level 13. Vortex surviving, the mosh pit hits. Here comes Hyperion. Oh, the silence comes in now too, and the kill against Jaina. Andy Landy is also about to be eliminated on his copy and Arbiter. And BKB, well, he gets that Divine Shield to get away, but this is just brutal. TeamLiquid is going from kill to kill at this point. Yep, and they still get that hit. Vortex with a blind shot over the wall, and they get a triple kill out of it. Johanna is dead, and now TeamLiquid is moving back once again. Anilendi is doing what he can to keep the experience up for his team. They are already moving to the bot lane here, getting a bit more experience up to the top lane. It's of course the boss is now being attacked. And this is level 14.5 versus not even level 13 yet. And Sevkaja, well, dude, you can't go in there. He seems to have a bit of a death wish. Like, I'm not quite sure. They missed both of their stuns against Power of Dream. The Power Slide and the, the Lunar Blaze or the Lunar Flare that we just saw on Tyrande. But still. So top lane is going to be defended against. We have also the top lane now with the boss moving in again. And that is going to focus the attention of Virtus.pro, at least for now, to the top lane. Abathar has a bit more pushing power now. He has finally that level 13 talent. 16 is going to be even more crucial. And he's doing a pretty decent job down at the bot lane, starting to push this in the structures. But up at the top, this is where we are currently seeing an attack towards the keep. And with that boss still being there, low, but still, this is most likely going to be the first keep to fall. 10 minutes in, by the way. Whoa, Divine Shield already used. Lowell jumps away in the last second, gets a heal, but now Lucifron is nearly dead, and he might die. Yes, indeed he does, but the counter kill against Sonya. Andy Landy is going to lose his Abathar copy if he doesn't pay attention. Could be down any second now. That keep is still there. TeamLiquid could think about moving in if they burst down the copy on Abathar, and they're going for it. Abathar copy is dead. Sevkaja is really low. And that's a chance for them to maybe move in again to take the keep, but they don't want to risk it. There's a tribute on the map, and it would be safer for them to get the tribute and take a few of the mercenary camps that exist than doing this. So yeah, that's what they're currently trying to pull off here. So they get already that. We're having at the same time now BKB in the mid lane. We have Lowell currently up there in the middle of the map as well. Down to the bottom, it's still Andy Landy. He is just going for the burrow moves there. And, well, let's see how exactly they're going to play it at this point on the side of Virtus.pro. Because they are, again, behind in talents, or they will be in a second. They're going to be behind in talents in a second, and, yep, once that happens, then it's going to be a little bit weird for them, I'd say. Because right now, they're 2 levels behind. Well, one level. They're 1 level. But still, this is like an important one. First of all, that boss is going to be back in a minute. Minute might be enough for them to get level 16, might not be. Either way, TeamLiquid is going to try to capitalize on the advantage that they now have. So they are starting to move in with 16 to 15, having that extra talent. They are going for the bullseye. They have Giant Killer, of course we see Seasoned Marksman on Reyna. Up at the top lane, there's a push happening on Virtus.pro's side. They want to take as many structures as they can, while TeamLiquid is busy in the mid or bot lane, so that they can get the lead. The Owl unhorsing Jaina, and in comes Lucifron. There's the slow with the water element. Lucifron, slide to victory. Mosh pit, nope. No mosh pit just yet. And Divine Shield saves Jaina, at least for now. But for how long? Because Power of Dream, he doesn't have that Divine Shield now. And the stun combo against BKB. He's starting to struggle. Saved himself with a Blessed Shield. But in comes Sylvanas, and Chris takes him down. It's a double kill as Jaina falls as well. And this is going to be the first keep of the game. TeamLiquid is starting to move in. Are they gonna go for core? They have Hyperion. They can burst that down or attempt to. There's Sonya nearly dead, and they really go for it. They get the kill against Uther, the copy, the double Sonya. The copy will be eliminated, but look at the core being down to 70% already. The mosh pit eliminates the remaining heroes. Only Abathur is still surviving, and that is TeamLiquid mercilessly moving in to claim the first game of the best of 3. Great play here. Really well done by TeamLiquid, and they take the lead in the best of 3 series against their opponents.